Government regulators this morning are taking steps that could lower part of your cable bill. The FCC is considering opening up the market for set-top boxes. American homes spend an average of $231 a year to rent them from cable companies, and the average monthly cable bill is close to $100. CBS News contributor and NewYorker.com editor and digital expert Nicholas Thompson is joining us here at the table. That's what you are, Nicholas Thompson. We're always glad to see you.
Glad to be here, Gail.
So take us through this, because most people don't feel they have options. You get the cable box, it comes into your home, and what?
Right, so what happens is there's a wire that comes out of the wall, it goes into the cable box, and then you connect the cable box to your TV. That cable box is always provided to you by the cable company, by Comcast, by Time Warner Cable, by Verizon, and then every month in your cable bill, you're paying $9, $10, $11 for that box, to rent that box. So what the FCC is considering is whether the cable companies need to change the way the information flows over that line so that other companies can make boxes, then there can be competition for the box, and presumably that line in your bill will get reduced. So instead of paying $9 a month if there's competition, you'll pay a little bit less.
Well, the cable companies, though, we reached out to them, they say the consumer will pay more. True or false?
Well, the cable companies have a bunch of arguments. One is, hey, the system works right now, we're innovating. Two, there might be some kind of violations of people's privacies, or people will be able to advertise on top of our content. And then there's another argument that people make, which is the cable companies have a monopoly anyway, so they'll just raise other parts of your bill if this part gets reduced. My view is that it probably will bring prices down, and that competition is good, and this is a way to...
The interesting thing, too, is it comes at a time in which cable companies are finding out that they're part of a shift to streaming, yet at the same time, they're one of the big entry points for access to the internet.
Right, so they are a huge entry point for access to the internet. They have monopolies, they have a lot of power. They haven't innovated as fast as other parts of the internet, but their argument is, hey, we're doing fine, people are generally happy with us.
All right, let me turn to what's happening on the front pages of papers across the country. Apple encryption. What exactly is Apple being asked to do?
Okay, so they have this phone that was used by one of the terrorists in San Bernardino. And well, the way Apple phones are built, modern Apple phones, I believe this is a 5C, is that if you enter the wrong password more than 10 times, all of the data will get erased. Right. The FBI has not been able to crack this phone. So what the FBI has said is, hey, Apple, you need to make us new software that lets us enter the password more than 10 times so that we can type in every possible password combination, get the password, and get all the information. Apple is saying, no, we're not going to do that. A judge has said, Apple, you have to do that. Apple said, we're now going to fight in court.
Okay, but at the same time, Apple is saying we can't do that without doing something new.
Apple is saying, if we build this system that allows you to get into this phone, we will have created a system that allows people to violate other people's privacy in other cases. The FBI is saying, you're just doing this in one case, this terrorism case, please do it. Apple's saying, no, we'll set a precedent.
But could they do it for just the one phone and then destroy the software?
Well, once you've built it, it exists. And once you've shown it can be done, perhaps other people could do it. So that's Apple's point. On the other hand, this is a terrorism case. This is a phone owned by the terrorist's employer. This is a situation in national security, so maybe you should be more compromising in it.
So what do you think of the position that Apple is taking?
I think Apple is taking a very strong stand on behalf of privacy, on behalf of its users. I think they're very upset over the intrusions that were exposed in the Edward Snowden leaks. On the other hand, I think it's going to be politically very bad for Apple. And I think in situations like this, an American company and somebody who's actually trying to destroy many of the ideals that built Apple, that built Silicon Valley, there is an obligation to a certain degree to work with your government to help resolve those cases.
And I think the concern that law enforcement has is, what if we're facing another 9/11 style event?
Right.
A biological warfare event, and there's information on a phone that they have to get to. Well, that poses some real concerns in terms of safety that law enforcement has.
And that's a prospective issue, not looking back.
Well, but it might be. I mean, who knows what's in the contact list on this phone? I mean, there could be something that could help stop the next terrorist attack.
Couldn't they have worked it out privately? I'm wondering about that.
Well, Apple chose to take a stand.
Okay.
Thank you, Nick.